Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming along and joining me this evening on tonight's show. I have a guest that I've been working on for a while, trying to get on. I have been waiting a little bit because I wanted to see if I was going to be able to get the platform where this gentleman has a huge following. Um, as soon as I did, he was one of the first people that I thought about and wanted to reach out to. Before we get started and before I start talking about my guest, let me go ahead and go over the particulars as I always do. Guys, if this is your first time following us on the show, you can follow us on all our social media platforms where we're streaming live right now. You can check us out on Twitter. We are there at MFSB Live on Twitter. We're streaming through Periscope. You can also catch us on our YouTube page, and that is at the same name at Made from Scratch Broadcast there. So if you're watching us there on YouTube, drop a comment. Do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to build our viewership there, and also hit the notification buttons. That way, whenever we go live with a new video or I post new content on there, and you can follow along. And then you can also check us out on our Facebook page at the same name at Made from Scratch Broadcast as well. We're streaming live there, so drop your comments in there as well. And then we're also again streaming on LinkedIn Live. So if you are following us on LinkedIn, guys, go ahead and check us out. We are live there as well, and we go ahead and drop into comments, and I try to interact a little bit with you guys, and because LinkedIn has a little bit different process as far as dealing with the comments whenever I'm using StreamYard, which is what I use to stream live here. So it works a little bit differently, but again, I can still interact with you guys. Appreciate you if you're watching on LinkedIn as well. And then the last one is you can watch the live stream on our website, and that is at www.madefromscratchpodcast. We're streaming live there. You can watch the broadcast there. You can also check out our past episodes. You can also check out our podcast episode as well, which is just the audio that we put into a podcast form, and we upload it there. And you can find it on Spotify, Google Podcast, a few other platforms, RadioCast. We got it out there. We've been spreading it out there. And then you can also check out our link to our live radio station. I have a live internet radio station, and I do play past episodes of the podcast there as well. So if you ever want to go check that out, I also upload music there. It's my own little platform to play around. So, guys, let me tell you about my tonight's guest. So he is known as the godfather of LinkedIn, and he's been around for a very long time. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're not connected with Brian Schulman, you've probably been under a rock, or I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it, because when I first started getting on there, he was one of the first guys that I started seeing everywhere, and he posts content like crazy. So what I usually do, though, about this time is I like to introduce my guest, but what I'm going to do is something a little bit different this evening. I am going to play a little bit of content of one of his own videos, kind of explaining what he is. So, guys, let me pull myself out of the screen and let me go ahead and play a little bit of Mr. Brian Schulman. These are his own words, guys. without any further ado, guys, let me introduce you to the man who created that video and was talking about his life story. Guys, give a warm welcome for Brian Schulman. Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Gabriel, how are you, my friend? It's good to see you.
I am doing great, especially now that you're here. So, that was, again, I tell people when you go start getting on LinkedIn, because again, there's a lot of people who still, even to this day, still see it as a platform just for business and resumes and that sort of thing. And it's incredible when I tell them, hey, go check it out. It's more than that now. It's an actual social media platform. And not only is it just a social media platform, it's one of the best when it comes to building relationships. I've been on other social media platforms. I've been on Instagram. I've been on Facebook. I've been on Twitter. But no place have I ever made relationships, and no other place have I made friendships than going on LinkedIn and meeting people. And again, it's something that I still tell people, it's magical. And I don't know, for everybody who's still getting on there and learning, get on there, start reaching out. You'll be blown away, because again, you'll start seeing what you talked about in that video. Opportunities will start opening up by just meeting people and connecting and networking. And to me, that's one of the best parts about being on that platform. And you were one of the first ones that kind of stuck out to me, because I started connecting with, and of course you start from zero, but you start connecting with people and people start sharing stuff. And one of the things that I saw was your video talking about your story. And that's what really drew me to you at first, because I go, wow, that's a pretty interesting story about how he's come from, where he come from, the struggles and everything. He isn't yet, here he is. He's got a lot of people that on LinkedIn, he's able to do videos. And I go, man, one day I want to be like him. So I started my journey. And, eventually I got to the point where I connected with you. And this was, it wasn't nothing that I had planned, but I think we had a Zoom call. We were sitting there talking, and that was one of the first things that struck me, is that you were real, you were authentic. And then I just got this feeling that he's just a human being. Some people get the perception that, wow, he's so up there, or somebody's up there in the stratosphere. They seem incredible, and you go, there has to be something about him that you don't know, or something behind the scenes. But there's nothing like that with you, and it's incredible. So, man, I am so honored to have you on the show, and I'm still kind of blown away a little bit. So, and
I'm honored. I'm the one that's honored. I remember that first conversation we had. It was great. And like, you just all of a sudden you showed up on LinkedIn and you started sharing content, and it was like you were talking from your heart. And then you started showing up on video, and you're like, you got to see this stuff that this guy is doing, and like, it's really affecting me in a really cool way. And then, you were showing up all in the comments, and just, you were connecting with everybody, and it was awesome. It was really awesome to see.
Yeah. And that's why I felt so moved by it, because again, people were actually engaging and putting real deep comments and real deep thoughts into what they were saying to a lot of people on a lot of these posts that they share. So I go, wow, this is really insightful, because again, if you're taking the time to write out a comment, and somebody might say, sure, or whatever. You might see that a lot on other social media platforms. But when I was seeing, people almost writing paragraphs on some of these, I go, okay, these are people that really take their interaction and their engagement seriously. And from that point, I fell in love with what everybody was doing on there. And I said, I have to start reaching out and finding a way to connect with people here on this platform, and I have, and it's been such a beautiful journey. And um, here again, here we got all these people already commenting here on LinkedIn because we reach out and we connect with people. And one of the first people that I consider a friend that I saw that was commenting a lot on your stuff, and it's Mike Padurano. I connected with him instantly. I mean, and we're like, I mean, except for the fact that he's somewhere else, we're literally friends. We have conversations all the time. And I had never had that happen to me on any other social media platform where I was just saying, okay, let me, I would say, I'd comment to people, say hello, that sort of thing. And everybody was like, well, I don't know. There was never any kind of engagement, as opposed to coming on here and you feel the engagement, you feel people, people can be vulnerable. That was kind of what was so interesting about it. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and start talking about you for those who aren't too familiar with her. And I don't know too many who aren't, because you're all over Facebook, you're already all over LinkedIn, but kind of give us a little bit of your backstory about how you actually landed on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. One of the things I always say is that we all have a voice and we all have a story, and it's the stories that make us who we are, right?
Yes.
And so I want to do something actually, if you're cool with it.
I am,
because a lot of folks will say, okay, tell me, what makes you who you are, like how did it happen? And so I was sitting up in my office January 17th of 2018, and my daughter walks in. She was a senior in high school, and just hands me a couple pieces of paper, and just looking at me like saying, I want you to read this, is really what she was saying. And she sat down in the chair next to me. So apparently she wanted me to read it at that moment. And so I stopped what I was doing. And on the top of it, I saw it said 4-way speech contest essay. And this was an extra credit for this class. And it wasn't something she had to do. And so the title of it, it says Live to Inspire. And so I want to read this, and hopefully I don't lose it because I've yet to get through it without breaking down. But let me do that, because I think it'll help actually answer that question a little bit around, yeah. So, all right. So this story about to be told, and it's ironic. This is your 42nd episode, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this story about to be told is about an extraordinary man, now 42 years young, who accepted all of the obstacles that life had to throw at him. Now, I know you may be thinking that everyone has different obstacles they just overcome in their lifetime or throughout their lifetime. So how is he different from you and I? What makes this particular man different from you and I is the tactic he used when faced with these obstacles. What makes him different from you and I is that he took these obstacles and used them to help make a difference and inspire others to never let life get in the way of their greatness and achievements. What makes us different from everyone else is not the obstacles life throws at us, but what we do when faced with these obstacles. Will you choose to accept defeat, or will you choose to persevere? On May 13th, 1975, a child was born at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. This child was born 3 months early, weighing 1.5 pounds, and because of that, was a premature baby. During the early 80s, he was diagnosed with a neurological disorder called Tourette syndrome, which is a type of tic, involuntary repetitive movements and vocalization disorder. And one day at camp, the counselor had to take this young boy to a payphone, tears streaming down his face, to call his mother because his neck kept constantly snapping to one side over and over and over again. He went to various doctors who performed countless medical examinations to try and find a cure for his disorder. Every doctor said the same thing. He's fine. He'll grow out of it. And one day in 5th grade, he stood up in front of his class and shared with them what Tourette syndrome was and what growing up with Tourette syndrome was like. A huge weight was lifted off his shoulders once he shared his story with his classmates, and it generated many supporters, whether they be friends, parents, or teachers. Finally, a specialist at UCLA told him that he would never be able to get rid of this disorder alone and suggested that he take a special drug called clonidine to help with his tics. Unfortunately, with this drug came horrible side effects. He made a conscious decision after a few years not to take the pills and to try and master his condition through focus and determination. After a while, the tics started to diminish, and for the most part, they went away. No one knows what life has in store for them. All we can do is live until we're forced to face an obstacle in which we must make a choice to either overcome or accept defeat. The rotary four-way test demonstrates how one person can make a difference in the lives of others. With the experiences this boy had to face came a life lesson. With determination, perseverance, and support from others, anything can happen. Now, at 42 years young, this man chooses to use his story to make a difference in others' lives by inspiring people in times of uncertainty. He implements the Rotary's motto, service before self, by finding the light in those who cannot find it in themselves, supporting them through their tough obstacles. He helps lift people's spirits and hopes in times of hopelessness and despair. He helps people turn their ideas and dreams into realities. He helps build people from the ground up in hopes that they too will one day share their stories with others. He makes a difference in this world each and every day, which inspires others to make a difference as well. Who, may you ask, is this man? Well, he is my father. Out of all the lives he's made the biggest difference in, I believe he's made the biggest difference in mine. He inspires me to never give up on what I believe in, to always do what makes me happy, but most importantly, to always live every day as if it were the last, because we're never guaranteed a tomorrow. As Gandhi once said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Making a difference in the lives of others is my dad's change. What will be yours?
Wow.
So this is what she handed to me. Like, she just handed it to me, and I lost it. I was just bawling completely. She sat in my lap. We both had a really good cry. And, being a parent, and she's now a freshman in college. It just.
Yeah, that's, it's pretty touching, especially when you have, I'm sorry, let me get my composure a little bit, because
it's okay, buddy.
It's okay. That's great though, because I have daughters as well, and hopefully to one day make that kind of impact on their lives. That is, guys, I don't know what else I don't know what else there in the world is. You can, if I had anything like that, you get anything like that from a child who only knows you and gives you unconditional love. Nothing else in the world can knock you down. And sometimes I get that same feeling. I've had the roughest day. I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, and a simple hug from one of my children can literally take me away from everything going on in the world. And that's so beautiful. That's awesome, my friend. Where else are you gonna get this, folks? If you weren't coming here to cry, but then this is what I love. This is what I love about live streaming and live video. It's the emotion. You don't get this. This is stuff that gets edited out. No, not here. We bring real people, real emotions, real things that we get to share, and people see that, people feel that. And man, thank you for sharing that. And it just happens to be that here you are. This is what I call the universe just pointing us all in the same direction where we need to be. Episode number 42 at the time this letter was written, and it coincides so much that our lives and everything that we are as people and human beings are all connected by us being able to be vulnerable, show empathy for people, show compassion, show love. These are all the things that I every day. They are sometimes the hardest emotions to control, but they're also the best ones to share. And even if it takes a few minutes to help somebody open a door, if it takes a few minutes to, help somebody when they, need help lifting something, or even what, I've done this a couple times where I see a homeless man coming outside of a store, and I just went in there to go buy a lunch or something. I'll hand it to him, and I do it simply because I know that I'll probably have an opportunity to eat later today. I don't know if he will, and maybe it's just enough to help him get through the day, to live, to do the next day, to change his life. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I know the actions that we do put into these sort of things and sharing it with people, um, it makes all the difference in the world. So now you see why people, whenever I sit here and you think, and I'm going to be crass, you might be thinking I'm blowing smoke up his ass or somebody, but this guy is as real and as genuine as you can get. And if he's sitting here sharing these kind of stories with you, and you're getting to feel the emotion and see the emotion, that sort of thing, people, we are real human beings here. I'm tell you what, I'm just a delivery driver, but I'm doing something that I love. Okay. And if I'm able to share my heart, my passion, and everything else, same way Brian is sharing his, and everybody else that I bring on the show, I do that for a reason. Um, we need that in this world. We need this. We need the positive message. We need, especially now. Um, so that's why I every time I see you go live and I see you go, you know what, I'm going to hop on. I want to share my passion and my excitement for what you're doing, and tell everybody, please.
And I love that you do, man. I do. And you asked me this question before, and I get it all the time. And it's like, how are you so positive all the time? Like, how do you do that? Especially in the times that we're in. Like, but normally I would get asked that question anyway. And I kind of share some of the backstory, in terms of coming where I have, like I just shared from my daughter's words, and fighting for every breath literally to make it into this world, and being a pound and a half miracle baby that wasn't supposed to live, and being diagnosed with a neurological disorder, and being the weird kid and being different, and always the small kid, and dealing with adversity and bullying growing up. I wanted to give out the opposite of the negative that I had received by others around me. Now, don't get me wrong. I had so much love and positivity around me, right? But I think one negative can overshadow 1,000 positives. I mean, look at what we're in right now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's literally a wave over everyone, right? And so I wanted to be a giver of good and positivity and love and light and strength and encouragement. And I certainly know that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And I know that every breath I take literally is a gift. And I know that I've failed way more than I've succeeded in life and in business, and that I've learned from every step, but that I've gotten up, right? I've gotten up every time, and I've dusted myself off and kept going. And that's why no matter what, no matter what the outcome is, that I've succeeded. And, you talk about LinkedIn, and, I came to LinkedIn almost 16 and a half years ago with a purpose to give out good to the universe. And I didn't know how, because there was no way. It was just a digital resume and a place to look for a job then. But that no matter how bad my day was, right, no matter what happened to me, I was going to give out good 365 with the hopes to achieve my why, which is to inspire one person a day. Yeah. And I figured, if I could just inspire one person to chase after their dreams and know and feel and believe that they can accomplish anything, or get up after you've fallen 50,000 times and do it again, and believe in yourself, and know that you can get back up, and know that you can go again, and know that you are succeeding every time you do, regardless of whether you achieve that goal. It's way, way out there in front of you on the top of the mountain, right? Or just inspire one person to inspire someone else, or put a smile on somebody's face when they don't have one, especially in these times we're in, right? Just for one brief moment when they truly need it, or a laugh, or makes somebody feel good about themselves when they don't. Because look, I mean, we all go through that, right? If I could just do one of those things, Gabriel, for just one person a day, I have done my part as a human being to make the world a better place. And look, I know it and you know it, and we all know that life has and will continue to throw us mad curveballs and knock us down. And I will keep getting up to the plate and swinging, so to speak, because as my mom my mom had said to me when I asked her, she showed me this picture of me sitting in her lap as a baby in this homemade lion's costume. And I think she made it. If I recall right, she made it. And I said, well, why, usually like you say like a pea pod or something, like why a lion's costume? And she said, because you're a fighter. And you fought for every breath to make it into this world. So let me put a pin on it, right? Like my hope, especially in the times that we're in right now, my hope is that everyone will get up and fight, that everyone will keep getting up, everyone will keep breathing, everyone will keep going, everyone will believe in themselves and know that you do have a voice and that you do have a story and that you do matter and that you're not alone. More than ever, you're not alone. And then especially in a world like LinkedIn, as you so eloquently shared, right? We are all there to support one another, and we are all in it together, and we are growing through the times we're in together, and we are better together, and we will be stronger for it in the end.
Yes. And, it's so interesting that, that we actually, as even again, we're just, you and me, we're regular guys, just like everybody else. We've had journeys. Yes, our journeys have been different, but yet here we are connected at the same point right now. Our X and Y axes are mixing, and it's the same message that we want to get across to people. I too have spent the better part of my life knowing I wanted to be this person, just never knew how, and never knew how to, again, what your hashtag says, voice your vibe. I never knew how to do that. I had tried different attempts.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so I had tried different attempts. I tried a blog. I've tried other things, and first of all, when I found LinkedIn, I said, okay, this is part of what's going to help me build my voice. And then what I'm doing here now was just the next step. And there's still more steps to go ahead of where I'm at right now. These are just the beginning. I have so many ideas, so many things that I want to share with the world. That I know that I want to make this world a better place, and not just for myself. I want to do this for my children. I want to do this for the children and children of other people, because again, we all have the ability to. We all have the ability, and we can. Everybody, if they put their hearts and souls and minds and everything into making this world a better place, I think that it would be so beautiful. And I get it. Here's the thing. I know that history tells us that evil's always going to be there. Evil has been there from the inception of time. If you ever read the Bible, you already know that evil was there in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve before we even started and knew what this was. So evil's been around, but that does not mean we have to let evil overrun and rule everything that's going around us. We can share the light. We can create the light. We can pass this on to people. We can teach these things. These are tools. What you and I have are tools that we can share and give other people. And I don't think there's anything more beautiful than being able to do that. And
I agree with you, and I think it's one of those things. I mean, look, and I do have a degree in psychology. I'm not going to get all psychobabble on you, but like as human beings, we naturally want to connect and we want to relate to one another. I mean, think about when you meet someone for the first time. It's like you are immediately like you see them, you start a conversation, and you're looking for those connectors. You're like, oh, get out of here. Gabriel's a dad. So am I. How old are your kids? We start talking about that. Oh, you love to get on video. You love live streaming. Oh, that's awesome. We start to dig into that, right? Your best friends are your best friends because you have so much in common, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's the power of power of video, the power of conversation is connecting.
Yes.
And it's an incredible gift. It is an incredible gift to give. It's an incredible gift to receive. And it is the heart of it all that matters, and everything. And now more than ever, I mean, come on, we're all sheltered in place, literally, like all over the world. You're not able to communicate the way you would normally. You can't leave your home. You can't have lunch or dinner with someone. You can't go to a conference. You can't go speak somewhere. You can't, right? You can't go out and get food. You can't go eat at a restaurant. I mean, there's all of these things, right? And a perfect example, and they may or may not be watching, but my dear friends Joe and Karen are celebrating their 20-year wedding anniversary, and they had some big plans, and they weren't able to do that. And so a bunch of us got together, and we celebrated and toasted to their anniversary on Zoom. And we literally were doing that before we hopped on together. And it's wonderful, right? Because it allows us to connect. No, it's not the way we wanted to per se, but it's an incredible way. The power of video, the only thing missing with video in any form or fashion is you can't physically touch the person, and you can't smell the person because we don't have smell-o-vision yet, right? I'm sure it'll be coming, like scratch and sniff your screen or something.
Waiting for it.
I know, right? But the reality is that you can touch people. You can touch them with your hearts.
Yeah.
And I think, the other thing is that most people, and I say this because I was one of them, most people don't think they have a story or a voice. I didn't. The story I shared, I didn't think I had that was life to me.
Yeah.
That was just, okay, it's life. And I can count on one hand the number of times I had ever talked about it. And I never talked about it in the world of business. One time I did. I was going for an interview early days of my career. I've been a part of building and growing startups for over 20 years. And in the early days, I was going for a sales job at a company. I didn't really have much feet to stand under me in terms of experience. And it was a big growing company in the .boom era. And I must have met with like 8 different hiring managers and a bunch of people in between. And I figured, okay, well, I'll just share my story. I'm a pound and a half miracle baby. I wasn't supposed to live, grew up with a neurological disorder, dealt with a lot of adversity. I'm here. Like, I can learn, I can grow. Give me a shot, because everybody deserves a shot. You got a shot, right? Somebody sends the ladder down. Yes. And after the end of every one of the conversations of sharing the story, I always got the same thing. Well, that's a great story, but why should we hire you? And I walked out of there, Gabriel, with my head down, my tail between my legs. And I said to myself, I'm never going to talk about that again. Yeah. And I didn't talk about it. I never talked about it in business. And it wasn't until my very first LinkedIn video, 2.5 or 2 some odd years ago, that I shared my life story for the first time at that point in front of 500 million people.
And then from there, you just took off, right? And you get, again, that is, yes, you know what? We are missing, I guess, like what they call in the retail business, they call it the VAK, the visual, the audio, kinetic. Yes, we're missing the kinetic part, but we can still use the video, and the audio part to still get our message and still reach out to people and connect. Yeah, it's difficult because I'm an extrovert. I love to interact with people. So being away from that, when I walk in and see somebody, I have the biggest smile on my face. Like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Because again, you're getting that instant connection. And
right.
I think for a lot of people, they're missing that right now. And I tell you what, if you're an extrovert like me and you love to connect with people and you love, because I'm one of those guys who touchy-feely, let's shake hands, bro hug, what's up, what's going on? Just share who I am with whoever. And now that's, you stay back, 6 feet. I'm
giving you a big hug through the screen. It's so true, though. It is. It's true, right? But look, I mean, there's so much power in this. There's so much power in video. Like, look at you. You were crying. I mean, and I'm not there with you, So they're just, understand there's so much power in that. I remember a dear friend of mine, Aaron Hennig, was an early creator, one of the earlier pioneers with myself and a bunch of others a handful of years ago with LinkedIn Video. And he did his videos from his car. And Aaron, if you're watching, I love you. And he had his sunglasses on. He's a big dude, bald, awesome beard. And he had his sunglasses on, and he said, I I'm going to share something with you, but I need to keep my glasses on, else I don't think I'm going to be able to get through this. And he started to talk about his mom, who had cancer. And it was just the last thing I was expecting from him. I didn't know what he was going to be talking about. And he was losing it, and I lost it. Like, I was watching it. I remember sitting in my office, and I'm bawling, and I'm just, because I connected with him and his message and everything. And I called him after I saw it, and I'm like, trying to get words out. I was just so broken down. I'm like, dude, you have no idea like how affected I was by that message and by that video. And I love you, and I'm sending love to your mom, and and she's good. But again, the power of being raw, the power of getting comfortable being uncomfortable, and being vulnerable. I think a lot of people might look at vulnerability, especially in a platform like LinkedIn. It's a business social networking platform, right? And think, well, no, why would I show up and cry in a video? Or why would I show up and talk about my kids in a video on LinkedIn, or my animals or whatever? Because, I mean, look, think about it, right? Like, use the example of kids, right? I'm one of the proudest dads on LinkedIn. I talk about my monkeys all the time. And why do I do that? Because it's relatable. There are millions and millions of parents on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it doesn't have to, that's the thing, right? It doesn't have to be business. That's the part that most people don't get.
Yes.
Okay, it's human first, heart first. Okay, before the role, the title, the job, the company, we are a human with a heartbeat. And we all have that in common,
yes.
Right? And that's how we connect with one another. It's through our hearts. And I think it's just one of those things, like I said, I mean, for me and video, I had never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
I was always my kids on the other side. Like, I wasn't putting myself in front of it, and I wasn't controlling that. I mean, I had done some stuff when I was a kid in LA and whatnot, but I wasn't controlling that. This was in my hands. I had to hit record and flip it to selfie and talk and post and, all of it. I had to do everything. I was the director, the producer, the actor, all of it. Right. And I think the thing for me, and it's why I always share my story. And it's so funny too, because early on, after I made that first video, I was terrified. Because I didn't know what people were going to say or what they were going to think and all that, because nobody, again, in the business world knew any of that. And honestly, the biggest reason why, especially after when I explained the earlier story, I wanted to earn everything on my own merit. I didn't want to be treated any differently. I wanted to be looked at and treated like anyone else. Yeah. And, for me, I realized that being weird and different my whole life, but that by being me, I was inspiring others by sharing my story. And that was the very first time in my life that I ever felt that way, that I didn't look at being weird and different as a negative. I looked at it as a superpower, so to speak. I think the thing is that, I realized, and I started to get invited to a lot of shows and podcasts and global radio shows and live shows and stuff. And I'd do a couple, and then I'd get invited to another couple or whatever. I'm like, well, you can, and this is me, right? Like, I'm like, you can go watch like they wanted me to tell the story. I'm like, well, I just did it on this show the other day. Like, you can go watch the show if you want to hear the story. And they're like, well, think about it like this, right? It's like a movie premiere. When there's a movie premiere, there's a road show. They're on all the late night shows and radio shows and whatever. They're all saying the same thing. Are you watching or listening to everyone? No. Oh, okay. I get it. That makes sense to me. So as I say, different vibes, different tribes, and different times. Right. So I think once I got that, I realized that it wasn't about me. Like, it's never about me. Everything I share, it's not about me. I aspire to inspire all of you, right? To find your voice and to share your story, because it's, as I said, it's the heart inside of you that people fall in love with, and if you bring your hearts in every story that you tell, and you tell stories, because it's the stories we fall in love with, it's the stories that, as I say, attract and vibe your tribe, right? But
Yes.
so again, I didn't know anything. I had to. I mean, I was the greenest greenhorn ever. I mean, I had to learn everything. It was a world I didn't even realize existed. Technologically, psychologically, emotionally, physically, all of it. And I've spent thousands and thousands of hours, and now I'm one of the top video marketing experts in the world. It still blows my mind. I mean, because I didn't know what I was doing, and that's the thing is I want people to know. You said it earlier. We all start from the beginning. We all start from ground zero. We just start at different times.
Yeah, and that's why, again, that's why my show is called Made from Scratch. You start. I've had conversations with people, and they always talk about that, and they say, "Well, you know what? I started from scratch. I didn't have this and that, and that was the theory behind it all in the first place. Was because again, I thought, wow, any business, any idea, any song, any book, anything it all starts from scratch from an idea, and then you work it into your goals, into your visions, and finally until you bring it into reality. And
Yeah.
this is why I call my show that, and that's why I it so struck a chord with me when I first started putting that together. And I love that you talk about these sort of things. So you are again, I'm like you. I started doing this, and again, I tell everybody, go look at my social imprint if you want. I'm an open book. All you'll find is a few things. I was like you. I didn't like being in front of the camera. Uh,
Yeah. It was so awkward. It was so awkward. It was so uncomfortable. Like I have an article on my LinkedIn channel. If you go and look at it, it'll say this is LinkedIn video. And I chronologued my journey from the very beginning, like literally from the very beginning. And because I wanted for me to be able to go back and reflect. And I wanted others, most importantly, to be able to go and see that what you see now is not where it started. I'm almost 600 videos in 2 whatever years. And I've never made a video unless I've been inspired by something or someone. Otherwise, it's not genuine, authentic in me, and that's because of the people.
yeah,
Right? Like, and I think that's the other thing. It's the most important thing to always remember. Right? Is any social platform. Right? Like we're streaming live right now on Facebook, LinkedIn Live,
YouTube.
Instagram, YouTube. Like we're everywhere. Like
Yeah.
we're all over the place. Right? And I think the thing is if you think about all these platforms that these companies have created, right? Because I've been in digital marketing for 21 years, and it's crazy how fast it's gone by. And you think, well, look, every one of these platforms has provided us with a digital playground, so to speak, right? And we, as the kindergartners, as I always say as an example, decide if we want to show up and play, right? And that's the cool part about it, especially on a platform like LinkedIn, where we are all kindergartners on the same playground, and you're on the swings, and I'm in the dirt, and someone else is on the slide, and we don't know each other. We're from completely different backgrounds, different colors, races, creeds, all of it, right? But we're all humans with a heartbeat. And in kindergarten, it doesn't matter because we're just kids, right? And I look at you and I'm like, hey, let's go play in those 3-wheelers over there, and you're like, yeah, let's go do it. And we look at the gal who's in the dirt and like, hey, you want to come too? And she's like, yeah, let's go do it. And we're like immediately best friends because in kindergarten, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And that is what has happened. Having been on LinkedIn as long as I have, I mean, I bleed blue and white. I got logos all over the place, and it's not, and it's not because I'm pushing LinkedIn. It's because LinkedIn has changed my life so many times, and it's because of the people. It's all because of the people. Like I have made what you said earlier. Like I would jump in front of a train tracks for any one of you. Like your family. You hear the word LinkedIn fam all the time, and it's a hashtag that myself and my dear friend Sonny Tanana come up with. Can't figure out which one of us did, but it doesn't matter. It's just what does it mean? What does it mean in here to us?
Yeah.
And to think. I mean, I've literally met family, right, from LinkedIn. My LinkedIn fam. I went to Australia last year in November to do a keynote, and on all of this stuff we're talking about, my story and LinkedIn and the journey, and I got to meet my LinkedIn fam that I had known for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was like we couldn't let go of each other. It was like hugs for days, and the most incredible experience, and you think of the old days of being pen pals, right?
Yeah.
This is the digital version, right, of pen pals, except you can feel all of that, all the emotion. It's truly amazing.
That's so true. When you're able to just connect with people again. I've said this before. The world now is our neighborhood. Literally, the world is our neighborhood. Who doesn't matter. You're in India, doesn't matter if you're in France, doesn't matter if you're in Australia. We can connect, we can have conversations, we can still,
Yes.
and that is the most beautiful part about it, because again, it cuts into the time and the travel by instantly being able to say, you know what, I can talk to my friend in Australia right now if I wanted to. It's an amazing time to be alive. It's an amazing time to, again, all these social media platforms make it available for us. The they're giving us our toys and telling us, now go play,
That's right.
you know,
And now more than ever, it's so important, right? Because we can't do that. We can't build those relationships and those bonds. We can't connect physically the way we normally would. And yet, these tools that have been around for a while, right, have become more prominent than ever. I see couples on Facebook doing double dates via video. And, again, I mentioned anniversaries and birthdays and just pizza parties. And like, it's really cool. It's really cool. And I think it's taken a lot of us, right? It's taken us time to get comfortable being uncomfortable in this kind of environment, right? Where we have to be here. We don't have that choice per se. I mean, we have a choice, but if we're going to come out of this anytime soon, and personally, I think we're looking at months before we can actually truly, start to look at the tail of any of this before we look at the new normal, because it's never going to be the same normal it ever was. But like the power of technology and being able to connect us, I've been doing video chats for years. That's how Shout Out Saturday started. It was literally just, I met all these amazing human beings from LinkedIn that I'd get on video chats with through Zoom and Skype and FaceTime and other incredible technology. And I'm like, these are amazing human beings. Like, I want to give them some love. And it happened to be a Saturday, and I had this image in my photos that said Shout Out Saturday on it. It was like 6 months or something. I had it in my phone, and I'm like, okay, I got to do something about this. And I just stumbled. I'm like scrolling through my thousands and thousands of pictures of my monkeys and whatever. And I saw the picture. I'm like, that's it. I was inspired. I'm like, that's it. I want to do a shout out. I want to make it Shout Out Saturday. I gave it a Shout Out Saturday. I called it. And last year I had over, I was like, it was 1,000. I may have been 2,000. I have to look, but like video chats with people. And so every Saturday I would show up and share the love and give gratitude to all these amazing human beings that I had these great conversations with. Now, the coolest part about all of it was that people would show up and do the same and give gratitude and love to those people that inspired them during the week. And 104 weeks later, right, we're still going. And I turned it into a live show. And to your point about like, doesn't matter where you are in the world, we can have these conversations, right? Like, I mean, today, What's Good Wednesday, we literally had people all over the world on the show today. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I love that aspect. I've had people comment from India. I've had people comment from in Asia and in other countries, and I go, wow, I never thought that I'd be able to reach out and have these conversations and have people who are on a whole nother continent being able to interact with what I'm talking about, and a message or who I share or somebody on there resonates with what they see in life. And it's incredible. So technology has made this such, and again, I tell people all the time who aren't used to being on video, but yet have a great message. I've had conversations with people like that where they have really great crafted messages and stories to tell. And I go, why aren't you telling this?
Because they're scared to death. They're scared to death. Like, and I say that because that was me. Like, I was terrified, literally terrified. I'm like, what if my Tourette's come out? What kind of video is that going to be? And everybody that I work with at any company I ever work with, there's two things that always come up. One is, it's like, to your point, right? Whether they be top 100 TEDx speakers or Fortune executives or whoever, right? They're used to being on stages thousands of times, all these things. You put a camera in front of them or like a phone, and it's like they're white. It just turned 3 shades of white, and it's nerve wracking, right? You're staring at yourself, and all these different things that start to come to bear. And the reality is, and again, I say all this because I've been through all of it. I get asked all the time, how are you so comfortable you should be on TV or in movies or something. I'm like, did you see where I started? Like, you need to understand that I was you. Everything you're feeling, Everything you're feeling or that you're gonna feel, like all that I've gone through all that. Like it, so I get it, I know, but I want you to understand that if I can in any which way possible, you can. And it's just helping to pull the bravery and courage out of you because you've got it in you. You just you just need someone to be there to help lift you up and share some expertise and help you understand just how to, what to, why to, when to, like all that stuff, right? But it's all us in our heads. It's literally nobody else is going to analyze us as much as we are. We are our own worst critics.
Yes, and I preach it all the time. And just real quick, let me see. I had people, hey, commenting. Mila, hey Mila, how you doing? And Gregor, up, my friend. So and there's so many more people commenting on LinkedIn. I can't even. but to your point, yes, getting in front of a camera and talking, it's like anything. It's like riding a bike. You just don't hop on a bike and start riding. I don't know anybody in the world who said, you know what, I got on the bike the first time and I was just riding like an expert. No, 100%. It takes practice. It takes practice. People kind of tell me, hey, you seem a lot more comfortable and polished now. Of course, I'm 42 episodes in. Go watch episode number 1. Go see what I tell everybody, look, my first show was crap. I just got better at doing my crap. That's all.
Right. And by the way, like, you feel it's crap. It probably wasn't crap. You just feel like, and I say that because I again, likewise, right? And I think it's interesting because like today, before, I think people are realizing now more than ever the power of video because it connects us. Before it was like, yeah, we know it's there. Maybe we'll do that, maybe not, but we can leave our house and go meet people and do that stuff. Well, now you can't, right? So it's important. But I'm going to throw some stats at you because I love these kind of things. I think it's interesting. So HubSpot did a study that said 54% of consumers want to see more video content from brands and from businesses that they support. And they went on further to say that it's predicted that video will account for it's going to be more than this, but 70% of all mobile traffic by 2021. Wow. Now, I said earlier, it's the heart of it all that matters, okay? And personally, just in terms of my own predictions around this stuff, I think that the growth of video, especially because of what we are growing through now, as a part of a brand's heart-centered content marketing strategy, I don't care if it's one person in the company or if it's a million people in the company, will continue to increase, especially with a concentration on LinkedIn. And I think that in 2020, LinkedIn Live, which, by the way, so like we're live on certain platforms right now where you can just go live. Like you can go. On LinkedIn, you actually apply. Like there's only about 300 and 350 of us around the world out of 675 million people that have access, that have been approved to be live broadcasters on LinkedIn. And so I do believe it will come out of beta this year, and I predict that more and more businesses will find their voices and they will force their vibe and they will attract their tribes by including live and native video in their marketing strategies, specifically on LinkedIn. And I keep bringing LinkedIn up and I beat that drum because I think it's so important for people to realize that in business, like you want to go where the people are.
Yeah.
Right? There's all these digital platforms. But LinkedIn but they each have their own predispositions, okay? Facebook was the friends and college roommates and family, right? YouTube was a mixed bag mutt, right? But you knew it was like you had a mosh up of everything in terms of whatever video was happening.
Yeah.
TikTok, it was kids to start with, Instagram, it was, hey, look at me, my life's amazing, whether it is or not, right? And then LinkedIn was, hey, business social networking platform. But like I said earlier, the challenge that people didn't understand is that as soon as video launched in beta, June of 2000, well, more like the end of the year 2017, because it was alpha mid-year.
Yeah.
It changed everything. It broke the mold, right?
Yeah.
The suit we were wearing, so to speak, the suit speak, and what we were kind of conforming to in the box, everything just broke like glass for the good. And it was the first time it became human with a heartbeat ever. And because of that, right, while they were behind the game with video compared to other platforms, we weren't looking at it that way. It was like, oh, wow, look at this new and shiny penny thing we have, right? Yeah. And people were, those that understand that it's human first, heart first, I mean, out of 600, almost 600 videos, I can count on two hands the number of times I ever talked about business. And yet the opportunities that have generated themselves, right? That trip to Australia was sponsored by a brand, okay? And I went because I was doing a keynote on, on LinkedIn video, right? And so I want you to understand that, like, just by being you and by showing up, again, more metrics for you because it's important. Understand that, like I said, there's about 675 million people on LinkedIn. That's up 15 million in 3 months since November. There are about 250 million quote unquote active users. And of that, 1% that is creating content, especially through video. If you don't understand the impact and power of that being the most organic platform on the planet, I'd say TikTok is next. And that there's no better time, especially right now in this pandemic that we are in, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone has to pivot. If you don't pivot, you're out of business.
Yes.
You have to pivot, right? And mm-hmm. This is a way of pivoting, because normally where you would show up to be seen and be heard, mm-hmm. you can't go to conferences. You can't go and speak at this. You can't go to networking events. You can't go anywhere. So now you have to understand that you've got to show up where the people are, show up where all of those folks with the idea that business happens, LinkedIn, right? But human first, heart first, right? It's all about you. It's all about your story. It's all about, in fact, you know what? Here's something else I'll do. So because you're across multiple platforms, so I'm going to give you 5 quick tips for becoming one of the world's top LinkedIn video creators. And the thing is, this transcends across all platforms when it comes to video, but it's really important you get it for LinkedIn, and it's really important you take the leap and just start. So here you go. So these are 5 tips. Okay. Tip 1 is show up and be human. Now, again, you're sitting there going probably, yeah, well, why wouldn't I do that anyway? Pull out your phone, put it in front of your face, put it in selfie mode, hit record, and you'll realize it's not as easy as it sounds.
No.
Because you're all up in your head. So just show up. Most important is show up and be human. All right. So that's tip 1. Tip 2 is engage and support. Build community and shine your light bright on others. You realize how this transcends. And by the way, this isn't just native video, meaning you've recorded it, you've uploaded it, you've posted it. It also applies to live video like we're doing right now. Yeah. All right. Right. Because Gabriel brought up some comments from people on the screen, right? We're engaging. Hey, how are you doing? Rigor, what's going on? Mila, how are you? Right. That's all part of it. You do that in the comments with native video. So building community, again, it's all about the people, right? Yeah. And shining your light on others, like your show is about your guests, right? You want to shine your light bright on others. That's something really important to do. Yeah. Tip 3 is create, right? And I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. Pay attention. You have a voice and a story that matters, and a voice and a story that can positively impact, affect, and inspire another human being's life. And there is no greater gift to give. And look, Gabriel's a perfect example. He was inspired by seeing me showing up, right? It's all about that. It's all about showing up and sharing those stories, and it's about relatability, right? So now it's that, okay, well, I understand I need to create, but what do I do? Like, how do I show up? Talk about what you're interested in. Talk about what you're excited about. Talk about what you're passionate about. And in the times that we're in now more than ever, talk about what you're scared about. Talk about what's worrying you. It's relatable. I was talking to someone the other day, an executive, and they said, my dear friend Wendy Glavin, I'm calling you out, Wendy. My dear friend Wendy knew that she needed to get on video for years. She said, she's like, I know I've been needing to do this for years, and people have tried to get her to do it, and wound up just having a conversation, and she wanted to go live. She hadn't made any native videos either, but she hadn't gone live at all. And we had a chat, and she told me, she's like, you inspired me. You're the only person that has inspired me to finally take the leap. And not only did she do her very first live, which was on Facebook, she did it, posted a video on LinkedIn as well. And wow. I was so proud of her. I was so proud of her because I knew she had predispositions, but but I don't look right. I'm in my home. I don't look right. My house is a fraternity house. My sons are here from college, and the place is turned upside down. I'm like, Wendy, who cares? My hair hasn't been this long in like forever. I mean, like, my place is turned upside down as well, right? I mean, it's like everyone. I guess the key is that when I mentioned it's about relatability, we're all going through the same thing at the same time. The playing field is leveled for everybody.
For everybody,
that's the other part, right? It's like there's no, oh, you're way ahead. No, we're all on the same plane right now.
Yeah.
So just realize it's about connecting. And with native video where you'd shoot it and upload it, 60 seconds or less, especially on LinkedIn, 60 seconds or less is your best friend, because the reality is people have to fall in love with you before they're going to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
You have to show up.
And just so you know, everybody, I did this on my first video. 10 minutes is the limit on LinkedIn. Yeah. I recorded a 19-minute video my first time, and because I wrote a whole page of thoughts and I wanted to share, and I was so nervous, and I was in my work vehicle. I had posted it up above my head on the thing, so I had my camera set like here, and I started talking. And I hit record, okay, and I start going, and I'm talking about my things, and I'm sitting there trying to collect thoughts and just talking. So finally, I get everything done, and I said, okay, cool, awesome. Let me upload it now. So I go and I write out my whole post. I write it out, okay, go through, and then I upload the video, and then it says, I'm sorry.
Cannot upload. Yeah, you've exceeded the 10-minute limit, and you're like, oh no. That's happened. It happened to me too. Because you've got all these thoughts in your head, and you're like, I want to get it perfect. Like I want it to be just right. And you get so over analytical about it in every which way possible, right? And again, it happened to me, it happened to you. Like I want you to know it's okay if it happens to you.
Yeah.
And Wendy and I talked about that too. She's like, oh, and this and that. I'm like, Wendy, it's okay. It's okay. Like I've been through it. You're okay. We all go through it. It's absolutely okay. Right. So create, right. It's important to create. And just one other point about that too is think about this, because then it's like, okay, great. I know I'm passionate about, excited about, interested in, fearing, whatever, but like I need some type of consistency. And tip 4 is about being consistent. It's the most important. One of the ways to help create a content strategy in a calendar, whether it's on your phone, on your wall, old school, whatever, right? To create a level of consistency that works for you is what I call vibes. Everyone has their vibes, right? Like Gabriel loves music. He loves being a parent, a dad. He loves video and live streaming. He loves people. There's other things that he loves too, right? And I always say 5. 5 is a good number. So 5 is your 5 vibes, okay? And these are your lanes of content. You can run down any one of these lanes that you want whenever you want. The key is to give yourself some structure and some framework. And by doing that, then you could say, okay, great. Well, I know I want to make, let's just say in its simplest form, I want to make 1 video a week. Yeah. Like don't go full tilt boogie and try to go every single day. You'll get burnt out. You'll pause like we're all doing now. And then you'll have to start all over again. And it's hard. It's hard. But if you ramp up, right, it's much easier. And I say it from experience because I've gone through both. If you ramp up, it's much easier. So you could say, all right, hey, great. Every Wednesday at 5:00, I want to post a video or I want to go live, right? And by the way, just to step back to the future here a second, 60 seconds or less for native video. For live video, 30 minutes minimum. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because it takes time for people to show up, and in regard, like different platforms, different ways that happens, right? You're learning. Like LinkedIn blast, because it's still in beta, they blast on everyone's feed, whether you're connected or following or not. So-and-so is live on LinkedIn now, right? Yeah. But on other platforms, it's different. You have to market that. Yeah. So I think the key is just, again, create a level of consistency that works for you. Remember your vibes and create that frame and define some time and stick to that. Be consistent. Like I mentioned, What's Good Wednesday, which you see on the screen there. Yeah. What's Good Wednesday, Shout Out Saturday, both 104 weeks. Yeah. Rain or shine, no matter where I am in the world. I always make sure that I'm showing up, and it's never about me. It is all about the people. What's Good Wednesday was about, hey, look, no matter what is going on in the world, in your life, in business, there's always something good. There's a silver lining. There's always a silver lining. And so I wanted people to show up and, hey, share the good. You made your first video. Awesome. Somebody made you smile today. Give them some love. Share whatever it is that's good. Your daughter's had a 16th birthday. That's amazing. Share it, right? Human first, heart first, right?
Yes.
So being consistent was 4. And the last tip is collaborate.
Yeah.
Incredible things happen like we're doing right now. Incredible things happen when we come together. Gabriel saw me showing up on LinkedIn. He's like, who is this guy? And he started to pay attention, and he started to share and post and do videos talking about it. And he reached out and he's like, hey, he's like, this is a long shot, but like, I don't know if you'd be open to having a chat. And I'm like, I would love to talk to you. Absolutely. Yeah. And we got on. He's like, wow, I can't believe we're talking right now. Like, this is crazy. I'm like, what? This is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And then he reached out. He's like, hey, I do some live stuff and and we'd love to have you on sometime. And I'm like, I would love that. I'd be honored, and here we are. That's the power of connections, the power of showing up. And remember, showing up isn't just showing up on video, it's showing up in the comments. And it's engaging, right? Because at the end of the day, creation happens in so many ways. We create by showing up. So the last thing I want to put a pin on in this is and just to recap, right? Show up and be human is tip 1. Engage and support is tip 2. Build community, shine your light bright on others. Create, that's tip 3. Remember your vibes, right? And tip 4 is be consistent. Tip 5 is collaborate. I want to say this, and then I'll put a pin on it. One is, if only one person shows up to either see your video or watch your live, because it's very easy to get caught up in the metrics. Really easy. Like, oh God, I don't have thousands of people showing up. But Brian, I'm not like you. I don't have like the size of Wrigley Field, following me, literally. Which, the fact that one person cares about what I have to say just blows my mind.
Yeah.
But remember, impact. If you are able to impact in a positive way one person's life by showing up, don't ever discount the power of that. That's incredible, because that becomes a ripple effect. Yes. One person affects. And look at Gabriel. Like, he's like, wow, this Brian guy is amazing. And he was shouting from the rooftops all over the place. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, that's impact. I impacted Gabriel, and I impacted Gabriel so much that he started showing up and showing up and showing up. And he's like, his inspiration and his passion that was like bleeding out of his chest was like, I want to do more of this. I'm just like you, Brian. Like, I want to inspire people, and I want to help other people's hearts beat and inspire them to do what they want to do, and all of that, right? I think the thing is, remember that people don't buy, Simon Sinek said it really well, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. The reason I share my why is because I want you to understand the why is the root of everything. Don't just go to LinkedIn and start making videos because you say, I want to do business with people. That's not your why. Everyone's there to do business with people. Your why has to be deeper. It has to come from here. Just like every company ever started by any founder ever. I started my company because I was inspired. I wanted to help, Voice Your Vibe. Voice Your Vibe was literally spawned off of my taking a leap in something I had no idea what to do, how to do. I knew nothing. Literally, I was the greenest greenhorn, like I said earlier. And I learned so much in my journey through video, and I was helping people, and I'm like, this is my calling. And be it entrepreneurs or C-suite execs or founders and their teams who want to find their voice, and they want to show up and they don't know how. Voice Your Vibe teaches you how to do that. It teaches you how to find your voice and how to voice your vibe and how to attract your tribe and how to tell a story that people will fall in love with on LinkedIn through video, be it native or live. And it is the heart of it all that matters. And it's you. It's you and showing up and being you. And I think the thing too is right now more than ever, Gabriel, is that because we are sheltered in place, right? Here's the transformation. Your smile is now your logo. Your personality, right? That's now your business card. And how you leave other people feeling after that experience with you here, that's your trademark, right? So it's again, digitizing things. And I'll leave it with this. Maya Angelou couldn't have said it any better than anyone. She said, people may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you make them feel. If you remember every single time you show up, that it's the feels. It's all about the feels. And let's translate it to business terms, right? Like if Gabriel and I had the same exact business, everything's the same, and maybe I'm a little bit more expensive, or he's a little bit more expensive, or whatever, right? But everything is on the outside eye. It's all the same. It looks the same. You're going to work with me and my company and Gabriel and his company, or because you like us, because of the way we make you feel, because you trust us, because we have this relationship, this bond. It feels right.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't ever discount the importance of human first, heart first. And right now, in this moment, today, and however many months forward it's going to take us, in years, to be honest, because it's going to take us all to get comfortable being uncomfortable in this new world that we're going to wind up in. Please, please, please make sure that anyone you are interacting with, your employees, your partners, your prospects, your customers, anyone, human first, heart first. Take the hit right now. Take the financial hit right now. Your people are your biggest assets. They're the most important thing to your business. Everybody's business is run, is created by, is fostered through the hearts of the people. And it is the people that make anything happen, a product, a service, a brand, all of it. It's all about the hearts of the people. And if you remember that part and take the hit right now and help as many people as you can right now, realize that if you don't do that, you're out of business. If you do that, you are going to have customers for life. You're going to have employees for life. And you are going to have partners and a pipeline of prospects that is never going to end because you did something paying attention to what is happening in this world that we are in right now, this pandemic, where we literally are all living off our hearts. How am I going to take care of my family? How am I going to keep the roof over our head? How am I going to pay my employees? How am I going to, right? All of these things. And it's not easy, guys. It's hard, but it's the hard that makes it great. And this time that we are growing through together, again, we're going to be stronger coming out of it. But I just hope that you hear those things most importantly right now, because a lot of businesses out there are going, how are we going to survive? What do we do? And by the way, if you are a small business, as an example, because the small businesses are getting hit the worst, yes, closing their brick and mortars, there is a collective called Keep Small Strong. If you go to keepsmallstrong.org, whether you're a company that wants to help save small businesses or whether you are a small business and you need help, if you're a pure brick and mortar, right? You're my coffee shop, you're my pastry shop, you're my bike store, my barber shop, right? Whatever it is, we associate that. We think of them as my, right? Every Saturday morning, you wake up and go in your sweats and run down the street to grab your coffee at the corner store, right? Maybe they're not going to be here anymore. Maybe their store's boarded up right now because they just couldn't afford to do it. They couldn't live. Keep Small Strong is a collective of some of the biggest agencies and small and mid-sized agencies in the world that were mostly all competitors that got together to save small businesses. They are standing up e-commerce stores, providing free advertising. There are no strings attached here, guys. Go to keepsmallstrong.org. I'm sharing this with you because a dear friend of mine reached out to me when he helped spearhead this. And I'm like, hadn't talked to him in quite a while. And he started to explain to me what was going on. He's like, hey, I want you to let you know what we're doing. Maybe you can help. And when he told me about it, I said, how can I help? Just like every single one of us. And I immediately said, you know what? I'm about to do my 100th episode of What's Good Wednesday live on LinkedIn. I would love to dedicate this episode and make this the launch pad for Keep Small Strong. And then I reached out to my two friends who are writers on Forbes and Thrive Global and said, hey, would you guys be open to writing an article about this, dedicated to this incredible movement in the times that we're in? They're like, how can we help? Right. And we did it. And shout out to Amy Blaschka and Rep Power, Thrive Global and Forbes. And And so many that have gotten involved to be able to help. It's during these tough times that we're in of struggle that we find our strength together. And even though we're apart, right? Like what was done just in the first 72 hours of this collective would take years to get done, literally. Yeah. Like in history would take, that's the power of people coming together. So I'm going to stop talking.
That's awesome. No. This is why I love live video. And this is what, again, this is information. These are nuggets. This is, again, if you're wanting to learn how to do it, if you're wanting to learn how to get into it, if you want to learn, guys, I don't know what else you really need except your own self and your why. You get in there and you go start doing that, my friend. You go start pushing it. Wonderful things will start. That's everything that you explained there are the steps that I took to getting where I wanted to be. I started showing up, engaging all the time in these comments and being just who I was. And then wanted to start talking about the things that I was passionate about and the things that I wanted to share. And then here I am. I do this now. And again, I don't recommend this to everybody. This is the exception, not the rule. I do this every day, 5 days a week, but it takes a lot of work. But again, this is my passion about this. And this is my challenge to do this every single day and show up.
Yeah. And you don't get paid to do that. I don't get paid to do that. Yes, I started a company based off of it. Right. But before all that, I was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos in. And I think this is the other thing really important to remember. Okay. This is work. It takes work. It's just like anything you do. I want you to understand it's work. There is no quick fix. There is no silver bullet. You have to show up and you have to show up and you have to show up. And you need to be consistent and you need to engage and support. And you need to, all the things that we talked about, you guys, like it. And look, there's some people that just don't want to do the work, and that's okay. That's okay. There's people out there that can help you do that. But I will say one thing, like this is above and beyond anything. Look, because Gabriel, we're talking about this earlier. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Look, I'm on boards. I advise startups and founders. I've co-founded companies. I do speaking globally, like my own company, like all these other mentoring. Like I'm a dad to 2 teenagers. Like I'm married 21 years this year. Like, how do you have time to do all the stuff that you do? You make the time. You have to want to make the time. And I will tell you from experience, coming from ground zero, not knowing what the heck I was doing, that if you make the time, all the things that you want to happen will happen. You just have to make the time and be consistent and show up and do it. So I want to actually give you guys 3 different things here. And I will put them in the comments on LinkedIn. And Gabriel, I'll send them to you so that you can, in fact, I know we have a private chat window, so I'm going to give them to you in the private chat window so you have them. So one is a free Jumpstart Masterclass LinkedIn course that a friend of mine, my dear friend Rob Balasabas, and I put together last year. It's a free 15-lesson course filled with nuggets. For any of you newbies to LinkedIn, or if you've been around, you've had a profile for years, but you didn't realize it was an engagement platform. There's a link there. It's linkedinmasterclass.thinkific.com. Again, it's totally free. Please go and check it out. Like, there's just so much great gold in there that you'll find helpful. The second is this: like, if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a C-suite exec, like you have questions. Honestly, anybody, you have questions, because I'm trying to help as many people as I can right now in these times that we're in. It's so important to be showing up. Like, if you have questions about how to LinkedIn video, LinkedIn Live, just video in general for you, your business, but specifically, I mean, like I said, it transcends across platforms, but LinkedIn, you want to talk video strategy and how you and your business can be showing up, your teams. You can schedule a free consultation with me. I'm happy to chat about you and specifically your biz and where you are and some strategies, specifically your vibes, all that kind of stuff. And then the third one is this, and just because it's coming up next week, my dear friend Stephanie Liu and Katie Fox and a bunch of people at Leap, at Ecamm, have created what's called Leap into Live Streaming. It's a free 3-day boot camp. There are over 40 incredible, super awesome, and amazing speakers. It is completely free. And I'm providing the link. You will find it there. My session is on LinkedIn Live, how video and live video on LinkedIn can amplify your reach and grow your business. It is April 30th at 1 o'clock Pacific, my session. There are over 1,400 people that are registered for the session, which just blows my mind.
Yes.
But go, please. There's just so many incredible nuggets that people are sharing across multiple platforms on live video. It's amazing. All these people are amazing. They're giving their time, all this incredible knowledge, because we all want to help as much as possible. Right now, it's more important to be showing up than ever. So
that's incredible, man. This is, first of all, guys, free. If you want to learn and you're like a sponge like me, sign up for this thing. So much awesome going on there. And of course, again, I've connected with Rob, and Rob's a cool dude. I love to, buddy. I love being on it because I'm a content creator. I love going on there, just mixing up with other people and seeing their ideas, the creativity, all the things that are sparked through there. Really great guy. And a lot of the people that you've mentioned, I follow and I go, and I love their work, and I can see why they've connected with you so easily. Like Amy is I love her Forbes articles. I every time she posts them on LinkedIn, I try to read it, and because it's always pretty insightful what she writes about, and I love that stuff. So, man, these are incredible people. These are all people who are, again, putting their time and their efforts in building these sort of things. And guys, again, do I have to say it? It's free. Sign up for the course, man. You're gonna find, and even seeing Stephanie Liu do this, I when I first found out about her and seeing what she's done and her stories, it's pretty incredible. Wow. And I go, these are people that, again, are putting in their time and their efforts to reach out there and do this. And Brian, you, of course, you're doing the LinkedIn part. So what else do you want, guys? I think this is perfect if you want to jump into live streaming and figure out how everything works. And these are the people that are going to give you the tips and the tricks and share, even just beginning and putting all this stuff together. Because like you said, I'm going to tell you right now, it is work once you start learning and want to advance and progress as you do live streams. But again, for me, it's a little bit different because I love the work. So it's
yes,
it's no problem.
Fall in love with that. Like I can tell you, there was a moment, I remember it, when I got into the production of videos. Like, I found out about editing software. Again, I had no idea any of these things existed, and I had to learn all of them from scratch. As I mentioned, thousands and thousands of hours learning all this stuff. But I fell in, and I wasn't paying attention. Like, the clock just disappeared. It was like Alice in Wonderland. It just kept going like this. Like, I wasn't even paying attention to it. And I fell in love with that because I'm a musician. I love music, and I love putting things together. I'm very creative by nature. And that's where I fell in love with it. I wasn't thinking, look at all this work. I wasn't thinking, I remember coming back I'm a LinkedIn local host, and I remember coming back from the very first one I did, and I wanted to put a video together to post the next day. And I got home at like 10 o'clock, I think, or maybe 11. And I was in my home office upstairs, and I was using an app that someone had mentioned to me, and I didn't go to sleep, Gabriel. I was literally up for hours making it. My wife walked into my office. I was still in my clothes. She walked into my office. She's like, what are you doing? Like, because I was still dressed. And she's like, what time did you get home? Where have you been? Like, and I told her, and I'm like, I'm going to feel kind of stupid saying this, but I've literally been in here trying to make this video for hours. Yeah. This 60 some odd second video for hours because I wanted to post. She didn't, just didn't understand. She's like, you're crazy. I'm like, I know I'm crazy. I love you. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm safe. She was worried because she was worried about me. And so, but that was it, right? It's like, so fall in love with, when you fall in love with it, like I said, know your why, right? Like, I want to inspire people. I've never made a video unless I inspire something or someone. Otherwise, it's not genuine, authentic in me. That says a lot because it's all about you guys. It's all about the people.
Yeah.
So find that why, find that passion in it, fall in love with it. And when you fall in love with it, the word work, it's gone. Like, it doesn't exist.
This doesn't even feel like work to me. And people say, you're going to get burned out. And I tell them, well, I want to see what burned out feels like then, because I'm going to tell you what, I get up here in the morning at 4:15. I go through the day. I take my laptop with me. I use the hotspot on there. I get on my laptop. I start creating things. I start messing around with video editing, all these things. And I'm building a whole bunch of repurposed content so I can start re-airing a lot of this stuff, because these are nuggets. This is gold.
You bring up a good point here. Let's talk that real quick. So, okay, so you've let's say you want to do live, right? So you decide you're going to go live. There is so much power in repurposing. You hear the word like repurpose content. Like, what does that really mean? Basically, what it means is, look at this show. Gabriel and I have been live for an hour and 32 minutes. Okay, an hour and 32 minutes. So when we're done, Gabriel will be able to download that from StreamYard. We're going through StreamYard. So shout out to Gage and the StreamYard crew. We'll be able to download that through StreamYard, and he will be able to repurpose the heck out of this from a content point of view. So think about it. What did I say earlier? I said, best thing for you to do is to create 60-second or less videos, for example, on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. Now, forget the when, right? You could just, in terms of your calendar, you could map it out over months or whatever if you wanted to. But Gabriel could be going through this and going, oh my gosh, there's so many golden nuggets. I'm going to create a bunch of different videos. And he's able to repurpose the live and create native videos that you would upload on platforms from this. He doesn't have to create brand new content. It's here. It's here. It's right here, right? So whether it's going live or whether if you're a podcast host, understand that, like, your podcast, another great example. 60-minute show, 30-minute show, 2-hour show, 15-minute show, 60-second or less videos. You have tons of content that you can create off that in video purpose form. You could then take those videos and transcribe them into articles and post the videos within those articles to be able to watch it too. Or maybe you want to create on LinkedIn what's called a document, which is like a multi-page PDF, but it gets really good visibility. Use the show. Like, you've got all the content.
Yeah, why not? I see guys like Adam Posner. I know you've been on his show. Yeah, he does that a lot, where he takes his podcast. He takes the podcast. He takes little snippets of it, repurposes it, repackages it, and then he airs it on there, and it works magically because people get it again. And you take the gold. You can go back and listen to it. So I literally now have hours and hours and hours of content that I can go back and just. Yeah.
And it's not, by the way, it's not just videos, right? Like, and this is something Adam and I talked about too, right? So Gabriel, like, you have imagery that you'll give to your guests to post. I'm again on a lot of shows and podcasts, and Adam and I were talking about this, and he was really blown away by how I helped promote the show we did together. And I said, look, like you like to shine your light on your guest. Me, I want to shine the light on the hosts. So I will create videos and imagery and whatnot in prep for the shows so that I can promote it. And I always say, hey, anything you have, let me know. I'll promote the show too. And I'm like, why wouldn't anyone do that? So if you're a business owner or whatever you are, right, in business, this is a nugget for you too. Yeah. Go on as many podcasts, live shows, radio shows, other shows that you can, because that's all content for you. Not only that you can use for later, but that you can use in promotion of, right? Mm-hmm. And if you feel uncomfortable about that, and I get it, because that was me, you're like, why do I want to promote myself? Take it off of you. This is what really helped me in general, in video and promoting and whatever. It's not about you. Yeah. It's in the case of this, I'm promoting Gabriel's show because I want everyone to know how awesome he is. And I just happen to be here. Yeah. Right. Or whatever it is. Right. Think about it that way. If you're going to speak at a digital event, for example, and this is something that I did with Wendy Glav. And I said, hey, Wendy, you're getting ready to speak at an event. That's awesome. You promote it. She's like, really? I'm like, yes. It's
Yes.
not, because it's not about you. You have like 3 or 4 other speakers. And I said, hey, you know what? Let me do something for you. Did they give you an image to post for the? She's like, yeah. When you get the image, give it to me. I'll create a video for you, and you can post the video.
Yeah.
She's like, wow, what? Really? Like, you're
Yeah.
so busy. Why would you do something like that for me? I said, why wouldn't I? Why not? Because I can. I'm
Yes.
doing it because I can, right? And she doesn't know how to do that. And so I did that, and she got so many great responses from people like, wow, that's incredible. What a great video. Like, because people didn't see those things in her world. And so I
Yeah.
guess my point is just shine your light bright on others. It's not
Yeah.
about you. And then you're not in your head, and that helps you. It does boomerang back to you for the good, but
Yeah.
that's not why you're doing it.
Yeah. And again, that's sort of what I love doing that as well. I've had musical guests on, right? And they're pretty young, but they're very talented. So what I did is I went and I found all these social media images all over that they had that their front print. I put them all together. I put them to their
Yeah,
song. I made an intro, little outro for it,
that's
and
awesome.
and I shared it to them, and they go, "Wow, that's awesome!" And I tell them, "Well, it's part of me trying to not only I'm bringing you on for a reason. First of all, so I can showcase you and your talents and what I think the world needs to see from you. And then number two, it's another way for you to also get your song out there, get your whatever it was that we were promoting. That as far as if you want to build, and again, you're an artist, so remember you got to build a brand. If you're going to build that brand, if you're going to build what you are, these are the little things that you need to go out there and learn about promoting and sharing and again in your young career. Now, when you get older and if you got a whole crew behind you, you don't have to worry about that. You're just creating the songs and doing everything else. That's what eventually happens. But starting out, yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I actually got one of the kids that I had on a couple of weeks ago. His dad just sent me his video.
That's awesome.
Right in the middle of our conversation. So I'm gonna go back and watch it, and then
I
I'll go
love
back.
it.
And I'll put my thing on there, my little spin on it, and I'll share it. And again,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. And by the way, like this stuff, like, because this is video, right?
yeah,
Doing this, like, for example, on shows, that brings you visibility. You will be surprised at how much business you will generate by showing up on other people's shows. And think about it this way, right? Show up on as many shows as you can, because the reality is different vibes, different tribes. You never know who's going to show up when, who's going to hear, your story and be inspired by you and want to hire you or have you come. I mean, this happened to me. We want you to come be a speaker at this event. We heard your incredible story on this show, and we'd love to have you come speak. Like, that happens.
yes,
Right? All you have to do is show up. The host of the show is doing all the work. I mean, so take advantage of those opportunities where you see them, and don't be afraid to ask.
yes,
Don't be afraid. Gabriel reached out to me and asked. There's this incredible young man, and I say young man, he could be my son. He's 14 years old. He's
yeah,
on LinkedIn.
yeah,
He is on LinkedIn. He is a podcast host. He does a couple different shows. I was on a previous show he had, and he just started a new one. And he reached out and he said, "Hey, Brian, I'm starting a brand new show. I'd love to have you as a guest. Would you be open to it?" And I'm like, "Of course I would." Like, you were such an inspiration to me. One, like the fact that you're 14 years old, and he was 13 at the time for the first one. I'm
oh,
like, you're 14 years old and you're doing this? That's incredible. Do you know how inspiring that is? I want everyone to know who you are, because that's
yeah,
incredibly inspiring, right?
yes,
So you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what's going to come from it. You never know how you're going to impact somebody and inspire somebody. And guys, the inspiration gets so powerful. It is so incredibly powerful. So just
guys,
God, go with it.
yes.
Go
And
with
again,
it.
and again, this is the beautiful part about what we do and what we share and what we create is the fact that we don't have to have it all be about us. We can make it about and that's what I love to do. I love to make it about the other person.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of did the same sort of things that you're talking about. So anytime I had a live that I could jump on, guess what? I wanted because I wanted to go on there and talk about how the world is in how how these people have inspired me. So I've jumped on with Adam Posner. I've jumped on with you. I've jumped on with Virgie. I've jumped on whoever and anybody that'll open the opportunity to me, because again,
Yes,
different vibes, different tribes, and I
that's
always
right.
I tag all my stuff with voice your vibe. So if you go click the hashtag, anything that I have on LinkedIn, not only is your stuff going to be there, my stuff's going to be there, because I believe 100% in what you're saying, always. And that's why I said those people, and there's 5 people that have really inspired me on LinkedIn. And that's one of the things that I'm working on, is putting a whole video together about the 5 people who made my journey, and you're one of them.
I'm so humbled, and I'm so honored, man. And you know, like I have those people in my life too,
Yeah,
through my journey,
yeah,
and I let them know all the time. Like I'm just because, like, you know, I said LinkedIn has literally changed my life multiple times, and this video journey, most definitely more than anything, and because of the people, you know, there are not enough words in my heart and
yeah,
time in my breath to truly explain how you've all changed my life.
yeah. And
Like I say that I found a voice I never knew I had. I say that for the first time since LinkedIn Video, that I didn't look at being weird and different as a bad thing,
yeah,
and I owned who I was, and I was one with that, and I share it from the rooftops anywhere and everywhere that I can. And like I said, you don't have to be like me and gone through what I went through. That's why I said you have a voice and a story that matters, and your voice and story can and will positively affect, inspire, and impact another human being's life by being you and sharing you and showing up and getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, and getting vulnerable, and yes, do it on LinkedIn. I mean, Virgie and I dance on LinkedIn. Like I created a portion of my LinkedIn live show, Shout Out Saturday, and I call it social disc dancing,
yeah,
because I'm like, okay, what can I want to add something here. Like I love and by the way, you can, anyone that's watching on whatever platform you're on, if you go to LinkedIn, you can be a guest on either of my shows at any time during the week, Wednesday or Saturday, because I open it up. I literally share the link in the comments, and you can come and you can join me. And if it's Saturday, you can do some social distancing with me live, and
yeah,
it's fun. Here's the most important part, right? And now more than ever, we need positive vibes more than anything, is that you walk away. Every
yeah,
person that shows up walks away smiling and a little bit happier.
yes.
And that means more to me than anything. Actually, I will tell you this. So next Wednesday, April 29th, is International Dance Day. And on LinkedIn for the last couple of years, I have been producing a video with a bunch of LinkedIn creators for International Dance Day. And this year, I decided I'm going to do the very first ever International Dance Day live on LinkedIn. And we are going to do it at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on LinkedIn Live on my channel. And we have a song picked. And literally, if you would like, I'll have to find the link to the post. If you would like to join us live on LinkedIn to do some dancing together on International Dance Day, I would love to have each and every one of you. So definitely feel free to check it out. Just what I need you to do is I'll need you to go to that link that I'll share in the comments and click on that and just say, yes, I'm in. And I will make sure that you have the link to join us live next Wednesday on April 29th for International Dance Day. And again, it's about coming together, right? It's all about coming together.
And it's all about, there you go. And you're getting to do it, and it's going to be fun. It's you know, dancing and you're probably thinking, what does dancing and LinkedIn have to do? Diana and Wynn made a whole
Yes,
a whole personality about dancing and sharing who she was and her vibe.
that's right.
She's one of the most she's one of the coolest, most uh, amazing people that I see, and I follow her all the time, and I love what she
She's
does.
incredible. She's incredible. Diana is one of the big reasons why I went to Australia for that keynote.
Yeah,
And I stayed with Diana, and I got to see all my Aussie LinkedIn fam, and it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
So
And again, the power of video. That's how most of us meet, was through our videos and engaging. And then it's like, hey, we got to get on a video chat. Like, we got to do this. And you will meet the most amazing human beings, truly the most amazing human beings in your life. Somebody had showed up on Shout Out Saturday early on and said she's a former Emmy award-winning newscaster. She was pretty new to LinkedIn at that time. And she showed up in the comments and she said, wow, I have never seen anything like this. I have never seen so much love, support, and encouragement on any social platform. This is incredible. We have to keep this going.
yeah,
And she's right. That is what we fostered. We will all look years from now
yeah,
and go, wow, look at what we did together.
yeah.
Like, it's truly incredible.
And if you guys want to, if you're saying, okay, well, cool, what Brian's saying, that sort of thing, even guys who are quote unquote high in business, and one of the highest is Gary Vee. Go watch his video about talking about LinkedIn back in November and what LinkedIn was going to become, and it's already grown to all these other things. So if he's talking about it, and he's always about business and everything else, you know that this platform is one of the most amazing things. And again, it's one of the most incredible places to be. It's one of the most best places to I've been able to find organic just reach with people. And I'm never going to stop. I'm like you, I'm going to start talking about it till I'm blue in the face.
I'm telling you, look, guys, like I said, every day on the platform for 16 and a half years, I have been there. I have seen the entire evolution of everything that has happened. And I told you earlier, 675 million people, 250 million active users, 1% creating content. 1%, guys, even if it was 20%, 40%. I mean, come on, like 1%. And now more than ever, like, how can you not show up? Like, after hearing my story that I had absolutely no idea what the heck I was doing, was scared out of my skin, and dealing with everything that I dealt with growing up, and I took the leap, and look at how far I've come in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
If I can do it, you can do it. This is the time to test, you guys. Test till you can't test anymore. Like, you have an incredible opportunity to try and do anything you want, and nobody cares. It doesn't.
That's it. Push, push. Because again, you know what the alternative is if you don't try.
Yes.
So, again, give it a shot. And it's pretty simple. And if
you just have to start.
Yeah, if you don't need all the fancy doodads like we got going on here, I'm somebody who kind of nerded out with this. You don't have to do that. Pick up your phone, open your laptop. If you haven't been to the Facebook interface and go live on there, they've changed it up a lot. If you have not hopped on Instagram, go hop on Instagram. Now you can hop on there with two people. Same thing with Twitter. You can go hop on there with two people. All these platforms are changing, and they're doing this because they know that people have to connect, and they know how important video is becoming. So
yes. Yeah, remember the statistics we talked about earlier, right? I'll give you some more. And these are skewed now because everybody is literally glued to their screens, right?
Yeah.
But over 85% of content consumed online is through video. Videos help build brand awareness. 90+% of people use videos to make product and service purchasing decisions. Social videos generate 12x the shares of text and image combined. Like, this goes on and on and on, right? I want to give some love out to a couple people I'm seeing show up here. Mike Praterano says, love live as long as I am hijacking someone else's show or co-hosting. David Munford says, thanks for all these nuggets. Will help so much in the coming months when I am on several podcasts talking about my story. David also said, I've been inspired all day from being on your show earlier, Brian, today. And now I'm on Gabe's. Thank you guys for all the incredible nuggets. Tanya says, you guys are amazing. Thank you. This is, and I think this is another thing to pay attention to, right? Pay attention to how we're having a conversation. Pay attention to how we're paying attention to what people are saying and reacting to in the comments, right? Like, those are all important. You're learning while you're listening, you're learning at the same time of the how-to and all that. Because a lot of people ask that, like, well, yeah, but how do you do that? Right? Like, how do you engage with people while you're live? Like, physically, want to understand how, and this is how. Right. So pay attention to how we're doing it while we're talking about it at the same time too, because
Yeah.
you truly can learn a lot from that stuff.
And,
right?
and you don't know. I know this because I've been on the other side. Because before I started really getting into it, I was pretty much just a lurker. But it feels good when somebody's on live and they mention you and they love what you're adding,
Yeah.
what you're adding to their broadcast. So go ahead, man. Reach out. Start saying these things. Like, you know, again, I've brought in so many people, and and now it's gotten to where people are reaching out to me and asking me, hey, here's my story. Would you be interested? Of course, come on. I'm not going to turn down anybody. Let me just get you scheduled and we'll go from there, and we'll share your story. And if you're brave enough to reach out to me and want to come on, guess what? I'm going to put you right here and we're going to sit you and we're going to showcase your story. We're going to talk about and share what it is that you have to bring to the table. Because again, just like you said, everybody's story, everybody has value.
Everybody's story matters.
Exactly. That's all.
Don't discount your story and your voice. Look, every client I've ever had, always at one point, it's usually in the early days of the conversation after we talk about, because I always share my story. I want them to understand. And they always say, I'm not like you, Brian. I said, stop. You're discounting your story. You're discounting your story, your life, your vibes. Because I always ask, tell me your story. I want to know your story. Because it's easy to kind of look at your own, just like I did, and go, who's going to care about this? Nobody cares that I dealt with this and that way. Stop. Relatability. They don't have to go through what you've gone through to relate.
Yes.
That's the other thing that's really important to remember, right? Is because a lot of times that goes through your head. You're like, well, but people haven't gone through this before. So how is that relatable? It's relatable because look at Gabriel. When I read that story that my daughter wrote, he was like Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
He could relate with it, not because he went through what I did, but because he's a dad. And he said earlier, like, if my daughters, if that, I mean, he'd be like I was, and just
and because again, you're getting so because it shows you can be vulnerable. You can be who you are. You can do this thing through videos and live streaming and all this other stuff. And again, I'm an example. You're an example of coming out there and just sharing your story, even though I thought my story had no value as well. At some point, I thought, and Steve Sullivan was one of the first ones. He's one of the guys that influenced me. He was the one that told me, "Hey, your story matters. Keep telling it."
That's right. And I love that. And I love hearing that from Steve, and I love they're doing the, him and Rob Howes and everyone, they're doing the 30-day video challenge. And it's awesome because, and they've all told me too, like I've inspired them in their journey too. Right. And again, that means more to me than anything. Like, Rob Howes and I, and shout out to Rob Howes, these are incredible human beings, and I'm tagging them all in the comments. Pay attention. I'm tagging them all in the comments as we're talking, because they're, Rob had said today when he was on Shout Out Saturday, or I'm sorry, What's Good Wednesday? It's Blur Day. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what year it is anymore. But welcome to the year of the pandemic. But he said, he's like, I came back to LinkedIn after a while, and I was one of the first people he talked to. Rob was, and he got inspired, and he's such an incredibly gifted human being. Yeah. Like, the dude is amazing. Go and watch Rob Howes videos because his flow is just, it's amazing. Literally his flow. Like, he's an incredible rapper and singer and music creator and composer and dancer, and like he's a whole package. Him and his whole family. But and Steve too. Like, I love seeing all these people show up and finding their voices and voicing their vibe, and I love being there to support them and as many people as possible.
Yes.
Right. Like, again, 675 million people on LinkedIn. I want to see, I would love to see everyone get on video. because there's so much. That's amazing, right? Like I know it's hard. You're watching this and you're like, yeah, I want to do it. I don't think I can do it, but I should do it. But I don't know if I can do it. Maybe I'll do it. I'm not going to do it. Like, I know it's okay. Just do it. What's the worst thing that happens?
Here it is. You grab this right here.
That's it.
You grab this right here.
All you need is you, your phone, your voice, your smile, your laugh. That I am proof, guys. Almost 600 videos, all with my iPhone. That's it. Purposely, because I wanted you to understand that if I can do it and all with my phone and no whiz bang, tools and lights and all that. No, you, your voice, your phone, your smile, your laugh. That's all you need. That's it. That and the bravery and courage inside of you.
It's that simple. I'm literally streaming live right now on Instagram. It's that easy, folks. You go to your phone.
That's it.
Turn on the live, start talking, start sharing your story. And again, boom, here you are. You have instant access, and people they're going to find your story interesting. They're going to resonate. They're going to go, okay, yeah, this guy's just like me. He's again, guys, I'm a delivery driver. But I'm doing this out of the love and passion of what I do. So again, it's this simple, guys. You grab your phone, turn it on, start talking, start creating content, start sharing what you love, and you'll find people will find you. You don't even
when you show up, I always tell people this, your tribe is out there waiting for you.
Yes.
All you have to do is show up. I mean, seriously, that's all you have to do is show up, because that's what happens, right? Like somebody had said earlier, they're like, you literally have the size of Wrigley Field following you, bigger than that on LinkedIn. And it all happened because you saw me, right? You saw me somewhere and you're like, yeah, I dig that guy, or I like his content, or he's inspiring, or, whatever it is that inspired you to want to, it's just like, we all do that, right? Like, I love Gary Vee. I love his passion, his energy, his heart. He's amazing. I love where he comes from. Yes. And, so many similarities in that respect. Just be kind and share your heart and show up and help and support people, and, send the ladder down. Yeah. It's part of the reason why I do what I do, is because I did not in any form or fashion get to where I am by any stretch of the imagination by myself.
Yeah.
I had so many people helping me and supporting me and lifting me up along the way. And it's my duty to send the ladder down. In anything, right? In life, in business, like, we don't get to where we are alone, So do that for others. Be there for others.
Show up, man. And again, I love this. And even though here I am, look, you can do so many fun things and be creative. And here I am. I'm actually streaming live now, and I can pull up this video. There she is, Miss Diana Nguyen. Hey,
yeah, Didi.
So it's all about all the things. Again, you can be fun and creative with video. That's the thing I tell everybody. You don't have to do what other people doing. So you see me do this video show, right? You don't have to do this. You can go on there and talk about whatever. You can go, if you're musically inclined, share your talent, share your story.
Yes. And like, that's a really good point, Gabriel, because like, there are folks that are on LinkedIn that are singing and dancing, and these are their gifts, and they're like, there's no way I'm going to go do that on LinkedIn. I said, I'm telling you right now, you need to be doing that. Trust me when I tell you, you will just do it, and you will see what happens. And it's amazing. It's amazing. My friend Jill in Oz, like, Jill sings. That's her Jillian. Yeah. I'll tag her in a second too. Yeah. She's incredible. And I remember us talking in the early days, and she's like, you want me to sing on LinkedIn? I'm like, yes. I do. Yes, Jillian. Yes. she's incredible. You guys, she's incredible. Absolutely incredible. You need to go check Jill out. Like, she's amazing. Her voice is amazing. And it was the start. It was the start for her to use her voice and voice her vibe and then help people in other ways.
Yes.
Right. So that's why I'm saying is like, believe in you and just look, the hardest part is just starting.
Yeah.
It's the hard and then starting. And when I talk about consistency, just realize every day is day one.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you are uncomfortable, you won't know it at the time. But when you are uncomfortable, you're growing.
Yeah.
So try and remember me in your head when you start to feel uncomfortable and go, hey, wait, Brian said I was growing when I'm uncomfortable. So I must be really growing because I'm incredibly uncomfortable, right? So it's good, right? And when you don't want to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Here's another awesome tip for you, okay? If you're really uncomfortable, which is likely going to be the case, because again, we all go through that. If you're really uncomfortable, here's a great thing for you to do. Take your phone, right? And each day, pull out your phone, flip it into selfie mode, and hit record. I want you to smile first, and then hit record from a habit perspective, because unless you're editing your videos, the very first second of your frame when you post it is what's seen. So if you're like, that's what's going to be. Now that may stop people, but or it's like, whatever, or just,
Yeah.
Smiling is important. But when you do that and just talk to yourself, whatever you're feeling, just let it rip. And don't worry about time either. Initially, don't worry about time. I want you to get into the space of getting in front of the camera and just talking, because that will help you get more comfortable. So not only is it that, yes, every time you make a video or if you go live, you get a little more comfortable being uncomfortable, but every time you add this as a supplement in parallel, right, to just talk to yourself. Let's say it's today. You're in a dump. You're just not feeling great. This COVID's taking you over. You're sad. You're angry, whatever. Great. Pull out your phone and just whatever you got in you, just float. This is for you.
Yeah.
It's for you. And there's two reasons. One is to feel more comfortable getting uncomfortable. Yeah. The other reason is this. That time later that you don't think you can do something, you're going to look back at this video and go, I got through that. I'm going to get through this.
Yes.
Here's the other thing. There is inspiration in you doing that with yourself in conversation, and you might just be inspired at some point to share that as content.
Yes.
So and when you do, realize that you might inspire somebody else going through a tough time to know that I say this from experience. I had somebody in January send me a direct message on LinkedIn. We had been connected. We had never had a conversation. She said, hey, Brian, I know we have never talked or, had any really communication, but I needed to reach out to you and share this with you. She said, I had one of the hardest years of my life last year, and really hard, so much that I almost didn't have a life, literally. And she said, you had such an impact on me through showing up and it inspired me so much. And you helped me in more ways than you truly could ever understand. And I wanted you, thank you.
Wow.
Wow, exactly. Wow.
Wow. That's pretty impactful. That's incredible. Man, and again, that's being able to, that one person you saying that you always want to make the impact to.
And you never know, right? You never know. This is the other thing, right? Is why I say don't pay attention to the numbers. You never know who you're impacting. You never know who's paying attention.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I never knew that because she wasn't showing up in comments or wherever. It was, she wanted to let me know.
Yeah.
I get messages like that all the time from people. That means more to me than anything, Gabe. More than anything. That is, you talk about legacy and impact. That is a mark, right? Next to my kids, next to our kids, that's my why, man. That's it.
Wow.
And
I love that. I love that. So, guys, guess what? This is a first for me, not for Brian, but this is a first for me. This is my longest show so far.
2 hours, just hit the 2 hour limit,
which is awesome. Uh,
Yeah.
my previous one was kind of like what you were talking about. It's just talking to yourself. Yeah.
My
So
dog.
yeah. This is the what you were talking about practicing talking to yourself and that sort of thing. That's how I got used to doing solo shows. Because
Oh yeah.
I've done solo shows because a guest might have not shown up or something happened or whatever, and it might be a little too late. So guess what? Show goes on no matter what. I still have to come on at 7. I still have to be consistent with what I'm doing. So guess what? I come on and I start doing a show. So and I can talk for an hour by myself, talk about topics, and not even bat an eye because it took practice to doing that. I did the same thing
Yeah.
while I was driving all day long. I turned the video on my phone and I would just sit here and start talking, and I would not allow myself to stop.
Yeah, it's awesome, right? Because then you get into that flow of being able to talk for an extended period of time. And your example is a great one because my 100th Shout Out Saturday episode, I went live and my broadcast kept getting killed on LinkedIn 3 times, 4 times. And I'm like, God, this sucks. This was an impactful moment for me. Like, and
Yeah.
I really wanted to bring people with me on that journey. And so it wasn't working on LinkedIn. I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go live on Facebook because I know it'll work. And so I went live on Facebook and I didn't use another tool. I went through actually at that point, their new producers view, which was brand new. It was like brand new. And I'm like, what is this? Okay, great. So I went live and I actually had it killed itself like a couple times and I did it again. And so I was actually, so normally I would bring people live on the show and give shout outs and all that. And there isn't a way to do that on Facebook directly through this new producer create. And I'm like, well, this sucks. But people were showing up in the comments and I was giving all my love, shout outs and whatever. And people were giving shout outs in the comments. And then the conversation started to turn. And when I got to the point of being done with the shout outs, I literally turned it into a free masterclass, a free LinkedIn masterclass. I was live on Facebook for 6 hours.
Wow.
Because people were showing up in the comments and they were asking questions. And it wound up being like, individually, it was like, okay, hey, I just said, hey, tell me your business. Yeah. Tell me what you do, why you do, what you do, how you do, and I will help you understand how you can start showing up on LinkedIn. And that's what we were doing with each and every person. And I was sitting right here and I couldn't feel my legs after I didn't move for like 6 hours, literally. But it was great, Gabe, because it was, everyone that was showing up was like, this is amazing. This is so helpful. Thank you. And I mean, I didn't have anything, I'm like, you know what? I have nowhere to go. I'm here. If I can help one of these people, like I said, one person, if only one person shows up and you're able to help that person in some way, impact.
We make impact. And that's all that matters. Doesn't worry about the dollar signs. I don't worry about all that stuff there. That's if you're successful doing what you do, money, fame, all that stuff will follow along, even if you're not looking for it. So if that's what you're going to concentrate on, you're probably going to have a harder time than if you just go on there being yourself, sharing what you share, helping people. Gandhi spent most of his life. Mother Teresa spent most of her life just helping people. And it wasn't the fame or the money or the things that they were looking for, but yet they garnered attention. People paid attention to their words and what they were sharing for a reason, because who they were and what they were talking about and how they were as people. And that was it. It wasn't the fact that, she's Mother Teresa. She's looking for millions and millions of dollars and fame and success and fortune and all this other stuff. She just wanted to help.
Yep. And that's it, right? And if you think about it that way, because the same mentality for me is because I was doing, before starting my company, I was doing that stuff for years behind the scenes, helping Fortune executives and others. And it wasn't about notoriety. It wasn't about visibility. It wasn't about money. I've had people that were like, I want to pay you. I'm like, no, I don't want your money. I'm like, I don't want your money. I just want to help you. because I've been through what you've been. I want to send a ladder down. I'm like, I've been through what you're going through. I get it. And I just wanted to help. But then I realized, well, and I think at one point or other in our life, this happens to us, or multiple times, right? But if we're lucky enough, it's, if you could do absolutely anything and love what you do every single day, what would it be? And get paid to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've said, all I've ever wanted was to be able to just take care of my family and do what I love, what I love and be able to take care of my family. And that's what it's about, for me. And it's not, I want to go buy jets and mansions. I don't care about that. I just want to take care of my family, and I want to help as many people as I can. Like that's the epicenter of all of it, is just,
and again,
I want to,
you just want to do that. And that's something that, again, I'm so same sort of deal. I'm not getting paid to do this. I don't get paid to showcase other people, but what I do get out of it is the joy of learning my craft. I get the joy out of sharing interesting people with somebody else who might be watching it, and I get the thrill of helping somebody share their message, and it's always
that's
fun.
Incredible. Like, it's liberating. I will tell you, it's such a liberating feeling on both sides. Like, that feeling when when you see someone, and Mike Paterano, like, he's a great example. Like, he's an amazing, I love you, Mike. He's an incredible human being. He's in the comments. He's watching. He's an incredible human being. And David, you're welcome. And hang on. And Roz, you're welcome. We're both connected now.
Yes.
But Mike's an incredible human being, and he's real, and he's human, and he was terrified to get in front of the camera. He was. Like, we talked, and he's like, I can do this and I can do that and this, and he's like, but and he's got an incredible story.
Yes.
Incredible story. It is like, it's amazing. And I told him, I'm like, you need to tell your story. You need to get on video. And slowly but surely, we'd talk every day. And he started. And he didn't ever watch the videos. That's his thing. He's like, I'll make a video. Okay. But I'm never watching it. He'll show up in the comments and he'll reply to people. But once he's made it and posted it, he's not going to watch it. And I said, I get it. That was me. That was totally me too. I said, eventually you will. He's like, no, I won't. And I'm like, yeah, you will. Trust me. But that's okay. Right now, the fact is that you're taking the steps and you're making the videos and you're doing it. You're starting. And just remember, every day is day one, and start and share whatever you're feeling. Go with it. And most importantly, know too that if you have a negative feeling or a negative vibe, just always make sure there's an upswing at the end of it. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry and upset. But come out of it with a positive, come out of it with a lesson learned, come out of it with, because that's what it's about. It's just sharing the journey. It's all about the journey. It's not about the end.
No.
It's about the journey and how you grow through that journey, right, together. And so what I was saying was, in the case of Mike, was, I said, look, you are, and I have this intuition when it comes to people. And I'm like, look, man, you have this incredible gift, and it's real. And, mentoring is an amazing thing. It's one of the most incredible honors to be a part of, and to see something in someone else when they don't see it in themselves. And that moment when they do see it in themselves, they look like they can fly, and there's nothing like it, Gabe. There's just, it's true. It's a true partnership and growth that happens together. It's like the teacher teaches the student, and the student teaches the teacher, and then the student becomes the teacher, and then a mentor to others, and sending the ladder down to those that need help. And that's when you know that an impact has been made. They're amazing moments. They're amazing moments. And you've done it, and Mike has done it by showing up and being you and sharing. You have inspired other people, and that's amazing impact, man.
Yeah, it all stemmed from me wanting to be able to create a platform, first of all, and a forum, so that I could actually reach out folks who are like-minded like me, and not and be able to I've had conversations with people before, but my thought process behind it was I need to bring these conversations to the live on video. Why hide such good things that you're talking between two people, and not bring it forward? Because again, something in between there, what you two are talking about, is going to resonate with somebody. Somebody's going to hear it, go, yeah, that's me, I'm that person.
Right.
And by me,
relatable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by me being able to understand and connecting and saying, okay, this is awesome. Again, that's why I tell everybody, look, anybody and everybody has a story to tell. When I ask somebody, sometimes I do ask people, I go find people that I'll check out who they are, and find their story so interesting. And then I go, okay, I want to have you on my show. This is what I do. I do a live stream, and it kind of catches them off guard a little bit,
Right.
because they go, me?
They're like, wait, you want to talk? Yeah,
Yeah,
but wait,
yeah,
you
wait.
want me to talk on your show in front of? Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, wait, me? And I go, yes, you.
Yeah, it's awesome, and they feel it. Like, there's so many people that have showed up, I know, on your show and on my shows, and they're like, this is like Saturday. There was a gal that joined, and she's like, this is the first time I'm doing this. Awesome, right on. I'm like, yeah, let's do some. You ever danced on live before? She's like, no, but I'm down. I'm right. Awesome, let's do it.
Right?
Like, and it's like first, right? There's it's always a first at some point, but
Yeah.
once you do the first, then you're like, oh, okay. Why was that? It took me 5 months.
Yeah.
5 months to muster up the courage and take the leap to finally make a video on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like, and I did that. I'm like, oh my God, why did I wait so long? Because of the reaction, right? All the love and support and encouragement, and so I think that's it, right? It's kind of like, and it's not about external validation, right? But look, that's not what it is. It's support. It's support, and it's love, and it's encouragement. And the reality is, again, we are human natures, or we are humans, and by nature we are creatures of connectedness, and we do want to feel that we're connected with people. And so it's like, it feels good,
Buddy, hey, so
the kiddos.
No, that is my. This is my buddy right here.
Oh my goodness! Look at you. He's like, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me, Dad.
Yeah. So essentially, me and him. Okay, hold on.
He's like, it's time for me to eat.
Yeah.
Feed me, Dad. Feed me. You've been on here an hour longer. Feed me now.
All right, guys. So just so you know, thank you, Brian, for coming on. Okay, buddy, hold on. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Brian, for coming on the show.
Oh my God.
Everything else on there.
You need to give your baby some love so they know you're paying attention to them.
So, you guys, you have a great evening. Thank you, Brian, for coming on. This has been one of my best shows ever.
Oh, I love you, man. I love you, brother.
And guys, you'll see us all over the weekend. So
you need to send me this so that I can cut this part and post it. This is the best part. This is the best part. Your baby's like so mad at you right now. He's not letting you get a word in. He's sitting at you right now. Pay attention to me.
Guys, thank you so much. Y'all have a good evening. I had a great time. I hope you had as much fun as I did with Brian. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock, with my guest, Stacy Juba. She is a writer, author. She's got her own classes that she does. And great person. We've had a really good conversation. We'll be back here 7 o'clock. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Stay safe.
Night, guys.
Just everybody. Bye-bye.